Did you know that according to the American Stroke Association, someone in America has a stroke every 40 seconds? Every 4 minutes, another life is lost because of stroke. There is an estimated 5 million stroke survivors in the U.S. alone, according to Drs. Joel Stein, Julie Silver, and Elizabeth Freitz, authors of Life After Stroke, The Guide to Recovering Your Health and Preventing Another Stroke. This year, about 795,000 Americans will have a new or recurrent stroke. On July 11, 2010, I became one of those statistics when I suffered an ischemic stroke. Based on my research and personal experience as a stroke survivor, I gained valuable insight into understanding the signs of a stroke and its possible risk factors. Many people assume that stroke is just a disease of old age, according to Stein, Silver, and Freitz. While age is certainly one factor, it is not the only factor. There are many risk factors that adults of all ages should be aware of. In these next few moments, I would like to clearly define what stroke is, give you the information necessary for recognizing the symptoms of a stroke, identify risk factors of stroke, and give you the names of specific resources for stroke survivors and their family members. The definition of stroke can be divided into several parts. A stroke can be defined as local damage to the brain resulting from a malfunction in the flow of blood to the brain. The brain needs a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients carried by blood. A disruption in the flow can result in a stroke. Usually, only part of the brain is affected by stroke, but extensive damage can be deadly. An ischemic stroke, is shown in this diagram here, takes place when the flow of blood is stopped due to a blood clot, usually coming from the arteries in the neck or in the heart. 8 out of 10 stroke survivors have an ischemic stroke. And as you can see here, these are the main arteries that come up from the heart, go up through the spine, into the brainstem, and into the brain. And here, on this particular diagram, is where the clot is, and that's what caused the stroke. On my particular stroke, the clot is actually in the brainstem. A hemorrhagic stroke takes place when a weakened section of arterial wall bursts. This type of stroke is more common in people with high blood pressure. So over here you can see the difference. Here's the clot in the ischemic stroke, and on the hemorrhagic stroke, it's little arteries that have actually burst, and now the blood is seeping out into the brain matter. Some strokes can be reversed. Quote, the damage from a stroke occasionally can be reversed and frequently can be reduced if the patient gets to the hospital right away, according to Drs. Stein, Silver, and Freitz. These are the classic symptoms and warning signs and complications of stroke. Some warning signs are sudden numbness or weakness of the face, arm, or leg, especially on only one side of the body. There may also be sudden confusion, trouble speaking or understanding, or even sudden trouble seeing in one or both eyes. Some people experience sudden trouble walking, dizziness, loss of balance, or coordination. A very common symptom is sudden severe headache with no known cause, according to the American Stroke Association. Complications and/or problems may occur after stroke, depending on what part of the brain has been affected. These include numbness, field of vision problems, memory problems, lethargy, depression, speech difficulties, swallowing problems, double vision, and the list goes on and on and on. There are several risk factors for stroke, according to Dr. J. David Spence in How to Prevent Your Stroke. Traditional risk factors are smoking, high blood pressure, heart disease, high cholesterol, and type 2 diabetes, which is often linked to obesity. Head injuries, aneurysms, or congenital defects can also be possible risk factors. I would like to share some simple available resources with you in case you'd like to learn more about stroke. The American Stroke Association at www.strokeassociation.org or 1-888-4-STROKE is an outstanding resource full of invaluable information. The website is easy to navigate, and Stroke Connection magazine is available for free, as well as a list of warning signs and risk factors. The National Stroke Association at www.stroke.org or 1-800-STROKES is also an excellent resource and offers many free brochures and pamphlets, plus a free magazine called Stroke Smart, which I have an example of here. In conclusion, there is a great deal of information regarding stroke, and I hope that my speech today has offered you a clear overview of this subject. It is important to note that there are many risk factors of stroke to be aware of, and age is only one of them. Now that you know what stroke is, you will be able to recognize the symptoms and warning signs and have a clear understanding of the possible risk factors involved. The American Stroke Association and the National Stroke Association are excellent resources for stroke survivors and their families. In closing, stroke is no respecter of person's age, gender, or ethnicity. It can happen to anyone and at any time and is most certainly a life-changing experience. I leave you with a quote from Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor, Harvard-trained brain scientist, stroke survivor, and author of My Stroke of Insight, A Brain Scientist's Personal Journey. She said, "It is a choice to suffer and see the bad, so although I may not be able to control what happens to me, I certainly have every say in how I choose to judge it." Thank you.